I recently saw a segment on MSNBC about tuition-free college, and I'm like, hey, there you go. Finally, they actually, in a positive light, telling you how, this does wonders. And this was involving the state of Tennessee, and it was only the community college. And California's already doing this, I believe. The 2 years that you get at community college, you're covered. And that's great. So as I'm watching, and I'm sure like most people watching, they were like, oh, that's good to see. And they don't even really know. But because most of the time they don't even cover tuition-free public college, that is the story. And anything other than, oh my God, how are you going to pay for it? It's pie in the sky, blah, 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 blah. It's all bad, all, just all dream unicorn stuff. So they're actually telling you how, no, look, Tennessee, they're doing it. It's working out just fine. And so me, as somebody who already knows this, and I think personally, not only should it just extend to the 4 years at all public universities, I think it should go even higher. Me personally, should be master's and doctorate level degrees covered too.
In Bucolic, Moore County, Tennessee, home to Jack Daniels and Trump voters, where nearly 80% voted for the president, there's a buzz about a program most often associated with progressive Democrats, free college tuition.
And we want to improve that cardiac output of someone,
specifically free community college tuition, known as the Tennessee Promise. What kind of difference has Tennessee Promise made?
I feel like it's encouraged me and other students to go to college.
Mackenzie Eldridge is studying to be a nurse at Motlow State Community College. One of 4 children in her family, Mackenzie is the second to go on the Tennessee Promise, paying for 2 years of community college or technical school, regardless of income, saving Mackenzie and others up to $2,200 a. What difference does that make in your life?
I know that it's really helped me stress-wise. I know that I would have been stressed having to ask my parents to help me or having to look for a job that would help me pay more.
Funded by the lottery, Tennessee Promise passed with bipartisan support 5 years ago, sold by then-Governor Republican Bill Haslam as an investment in Tennessee's economic future.
The reality is most jobs in the future will require more highly trained people, but it will take less of them to do that. Well, the state that's able to have those highly trained people is going to win.
But in the end, was where you got the, as usual. They couldn't help themselves. I thought, MSNBC is actually going to do a really good segment for once in their goddamn life, but no. So, of course, at the very end, after showing you how this is great, this is a wonderful investment for the people of the community as well as almost the entire state of Kentucky, they're going to go ahead and say, yeah, no, but that plan that Bernie has for, free tuition college on a national level, no, we shouldn't do that. 'Cause why? Well, that would mean that I think the states should know better what they need, and we don't need the federal government coming around telling us what to do.
Actually, the governor of Tennessee has said he'd love to see this on a national scale, but worries that candidates are going to say, yes, let's go federal. In Tennessee, they're saying do not make this a federal program because every state has different needs, and only those states know what those needs are and what the job profiles are. So keeping it statewide, keeping it as a state run by each state would be a huge win. And just imagine, they looked at the jobs across their state and said, we've got a skills shortage. Let's prepare our kids.
Shut the fuck up. Look, any of you with that stupid ass thought process, literally, get out of here. Bye-bye. I'm not fucking listening to you. Not a word of any stupid shit you have to say if that's the point of view you're coming from. You're dumb. You're fucking stupid. There's no other way to put it. How about you go to fucking tuition-free public college for once? Fill your brain with something other than the fucking mush that's in there now. This notion that the states know better. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know shit. And like I was talking about with an infrastructure bill, you can't rely on states and municipalities to cover expenses on that kind of level. It needs to be the federal government. They have the most resources. Jesus Christ. It's just, it's amazing that they don't get it. It's like, no, it shouldn't be up to the states in that respect. 'Cause especially, like, look, they're not forcing upon you something like super controversial like abortion. They're forcing upon you education, something that'll lead to everyone in your state that takes advantage of it having a great outcome. Everyone in your family, you won't have to worry about anyone going into debt to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars, possibly even 100,000 or more, just to get a genuine education that you need, that's necessary. You can't go through life with just a high school diploma anymore. That shit's impossible. I don't want to hear any of these other bullshit Republicans say that shit too, where they're like, yeah, you don't really need to go to college. You can just do the. No, shut up. And if you're talking about trade school, yeah, that should be covered too. But that wasn't covered under Tennessee's thing, and it's not. I don't think it's covered under California's deal either. It's just community college. But trade schools should be part of the coverage. I mean, should be covered as well. But goddamn, anybody out there who's under the impression of like, no, let's do half-ass plan, or let's let the states figure it out, any of this other bullshit, just shut up. You're not helping. You're part of the problem. You're either somebody who's part of it where you're benefiting from the situation being the way it is and people getting tens of thousands of dollars or more in debt, or you're a useful idiot. Either case, I'm not trying to hear you flap your gums. So yet another half-ass thing. And it started out so well. That's why I knew it. I'm like, why am I letting myself get sucked into an MSNBC segment? Like, it would be anything other than, oh, yeah, no, it's half-ass at best. I should have known. But I had to give them a shot. And as usual, they let you down. So I wish people would stop listening to their shit. I'm only recording their stuff and putting it up on my videos just to show how fucking lame they are. They're just nothing other than just blah, blah, blah bullshit for, you know, the upper crust of this country. Yeah, you know. So, and another thing about college tuition, I'll say this numerous times because people just don't get it. Anybody who's of a certain age where they're like 50 and above, and they start talking that shit to you about how, well, I got to my diploma and I worked on my own. How come you can't do the same? Because when you were doing it, it was like a few grand at most. It wasn't tens of thousands of dollars to go to school, asshole. So I don't want to hear your shit either. And everyone who talks that way, just put the hand right up in their face. No, bye-bye. You're not taking into account that all the costs of going to college, not to mention all the costs of living associated with you know, just being alive while you go to college for those 3 to 4 years or whatever, that all that shit was way down here. And then all the costs now are way the fuck up here. And you can't see that disparity. Well, I don't give a shit about your opinion. So fucking keep it to yourself.